logistics, interconnection issues that we needed to resolve. And so between 2000 and 2010, we collected enough information that we felt comfortable moving forward by proposing to our regulator the Renewable Energy Rider System program that Delano mentioned in 2010. And so we designed and developed a pilot to allow customers to interconnect, using that information that we had gathered over time. We proposed an interconnection and feed-in tariff as well at the time that was based on avoided fuel costs, so it was win-win across the board. And from 2010 then, those systems started to take off and we've seen exponential growth. A lot has evolved, and Delano covered some of that in his presentation, fine-tuning and adjusting rates and so on. But coming out of that experience, we were able to, and I should say that Renewable Energy Rider program is the only one, or the first in the world, that I think has happened without government mandating it for the utility. So this was the utility taking the initiative to put something in place that would allow customers to connect. That has grown to what it is today. It's grown now to 100 megawatts as a result of a lot of work the government and the regulator have done to enhance and improve it. There are some challenges associated with it. We saw some presenters mention this morning that Jamaica just procured solar at 6 cents. We currently pay 20 cents per kilowatt hour for interconnected solar, so there's some work to be done there to bring those costs down and make it more sustainable over the long term. But all in all, a very successful program. We got to 100 megawatts maybe early last year, middle of last year, and has reached a point where without further mitigation like battery storage, synchronous condensers and other technologies, we aren't able to move it any further without destabilizing the current operation. The other things that have happened over that period would have been grid modernization efforts that would have taken place. We would have distributed automated switches on the network that we've installed. Started installing maybe 5 years ago, and that's evolved to the point where we have quite a few across the network, and that allows us to have things like automatic grid healing. When there are faults on the network, those switches, smart switches, determine where the fault is, they isolate and reconfigure the grid. And so there's an element of self-healing, and that is continuing to grow as we speak. Resilience has been a key focus for us over the years, and we have spent a lot of time and a lot of money invested in resilience on the grid. So for example, we currently have at the transmission level about 190 kilometers of transmission spread across the island. That's the high voltage part of the network. And about 3,900 kilometers of distribution. So it's relatively small grid, all relative of course. Of that transmission, about 65% is underground. Undergrounding is more expensive, but the decision was taken years ago, given our vulnerability to climate events and so on, to strategically place quite a bit of that underground, so 65%, and in particular targeting loads that are critical, like the Defence Force, the airport, the seaport, government headquarters, the hospital, things like that, are all served underground with multiple feeds for resilience and redundancy.